Good afternoon. I'm Dennis Galucki. Welcome to the 545th Imagine Greater Buffalo program and our 167th YouTube Imagine Buffalo program, all hosted by our wonderful Buffalo and Erie County Public Library. Thanks for joining us today. This program is created by the Center for the Study of Art, Architecture, History, and Nature, or C-SAAHN, as I like to pronounce the acronym, and ImagineLifelongLearning.com. Now, before we get started, just a little housekeeping. Everyone watching will be muted and your video turned off. If you have a question or comment, please type it into the chat box and we'll go through them at the end of the presentation as time allows. We are recording this program so you can watch it again later on the Downtown Central Library's Facebook page and YouTube channels. And please, we hope you share the link with others. Now, on to our featured speaker. Suzanne Ernst currently works at Explore Buffalo as the program director overseeing Doors Open Buffalo, the Sacred Spaces program, the Explorer Pass membership program, group tours, and more. Doors Open Buffalo takes place on September 28th this year and is a day of free public access to many of downtown's Buffalo's most significant buildings. Of note, our very own Central Library, our partner for the Imagine series, will be part of Doors Open, so please stop by September 28th. Suzanne started as a volunteer docent with Explore Buffalo in February of 2018, and her study of Buffalo architecture spans back to 2006, when she started volunteering as a docent for Buffalo Tours. While completing her master's degree in history and museum studies at Buffalo State, she curated the architectural exhibit E.B. Green's Hidden Buffalo for the Carpellis Manuscript Library and Museum. In 2008, Suzanne developed and led the Doorway to Dorchester walking tour based on the houses featured in the E.B. Green exhibit. Previously, Suzanne was the special events coordinator at the historic Dumbarton House in Washington, D.C. from 2013 to 2017, where she managed hundreds of private events. She also served as the curator for the Francis Tavern Museum in New York City from 2008 to 2011. Suzanne, you're a most welcome guest and a treasure here for Buffalo and Explore Buffalo especially. Take it away, Suzanne.
Sure. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. One moment while I just start the slideshow here. Sorry. Here we go. All right. All right, everyone. Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Dennis, for that introduction. As he said, my name is Suzanne Ernst. I'm the program director at Explore Buffalo, and I'm here today to tell you about our upcoming event, Doors Open Buffalo, which will take place on Saturday, September 28th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And thank you again, Dennis, as well as C-SAAHN and the Buffalo and Erie County Public Library for having me here today. So just a little bit about myself. I am the program director at Explore Buffalo. So I oversee Doors Open Buffalo, which I will talk about in detail today, as well as the Sacred Spaces program, which it consists of tours of Buffalo's extraordinary houses of worship, as well as our guest speaker program. Our guest speaker program is where our docents come to you, to your venue, to speak on a topic of their expertise regarding Buffalo's architecture and history. And I also run our speaker series, which happens twice a year. We have our winter history course, as well as our spring speaker series, and those are both on Zoom. Before I go into Doors Open Buffalo, I'd like to talk a bit about my organization that I work for, Explore Buffalo. Explore Buffalo is a not-for-profit organization that promotes Buffalo and Western New York's architecture and neighborhoods and history through quality education to learners of all ages. We have over 80 different tours and programs that we provide to the public every year, including walking, boat, bus, and bike tours, We also offer private tours. So for example, if you want to do a work outing with your staff or you have family coming into town and you'd like to have a tour with just them instead of being on a public tour, I can certainly arrange that for you. We also offer educational programming. We're very proud of our field trips that we provide for K through 12 and college students, plus the guest speaker and public speaker series that I mentioned. While we do provide tours and programming year-round, summer is our busiest time of year with nearly 300 tours scheduled per month in June, July, and August. This includes our many public tours as well as private tours. And so how do we operate these tours? Well, we have an amazing core of volunteers whom without Explore Buffalo would not exist. We have 250 active volunteers. 120 of them are trained docents. We offer a docent training class annually if you are interested in volunteering with us. That starts in February and it consists of 12 weeks of training. So our docents are provided a high level of training before they graduate to become docents. We also provide training for tour assistants and ambassadors. So if you are interested in volunteering with us, but would rather not be a docent, we do have plenty of other opportunities for you. Our tours take place, rain or shine, all year long. So we hope to see you out there this year. We do have some new tours this year that we're proud to present. That's the Buffalo Theater Then and Now tour. So you can see a picture here on the left of our docent leading that tour. Our cemetery tours are popular, so we added the United French and German Cemetery this year. We have the Irish Heritage District in South Buffalo that goes between Abbott Road and McKinley Parkway. This year we started offering tours with ASL interpretation. We have 3 tours right now with that. So there is our City Hall tour, Canal Side, and our Hurdle Avenue Murals tour that we provide with American Sign Language. We have 3 new churches on our Sacred Spaces program this year, including St. John Gualbert Diocesan Shrine, St. Stanislaus Bishop and Martyr Church, and the Lafayette Avenue Presbyterian Church. And finally, we love to welcome families to our tours. So we've made a couple of them kid-friendly. This is our 2nd season running our Canal Side for Kids tour, and we've just added our Downtown Highlights for Family tour. So bring the kids, we'd love to see you. All right, so on to our main topic today, Doors Open Buffalo. Doors Open Buffalo is Explore Buffalo's largest event annually that we run. We've been running it since 2019. So it's our 5th year running it. This is a free community event. Everybody is welcome. It's a day of free access into downtown Buffalo's most significant buildings, several of which are not usually open for touring for the public. However, some of them that are regularly open are going to be offering behind the scenes tours or more detailed tours so you can learn more about these wonderful buildings. Last year, we welcomed 5,300 visitors downtown for Doors Open Buffalo. This year, we have 35 buildings on the tour, and some of them I'm going to preview with you today. So some Doors Open Buffalo quick facts. The event runs from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday, September 28th. This year, we're excited to be offering a quiet hour from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. before the crowds arrive. This is meant for our visitors who have sensory needs, along with their families and companions. So 4 of our buildings on the tour are going to be doing quiet hour. So those are actually the Downtown Library, M&T Gold Dome Bank, Western New York Book Art Center, and 50 Fountain Plaza. As I mentioned, there will be 35 buildings open for the main event, all of which are just within 1 mile walking distance of Buffalo Niagara Convention Center. So we highly recommend parking in one place and then walking the entire tour. And this is sort of a choose your own adventure format. So you can visit any building you like in any order at your own pace. You can visit just one location or you can try to visit all 35. So our average visitor usually sees between 5 and 8 buildings. So to see the list of the buildings that are going to be on tour this year, you can visit doorsopenbuffalo.org, or that's just going to take you to the Explore Buffalo website. So you can also find the Doors Open information if you go to explorebuffalo.org. We could not provide this free community event without the generosity of our sponsors who are listed here. Our presenting sponsor this year is Simonelli Real Estate Corporation, and they actually have some of their own properties on the tour this year, including 50 Fountain Plaza, the Sinclair Apartments, and the Lafayette Court Building. And C-SAAHN is also actually a generous sponsor of this event, specifically for our family-friendly trail. And I'll be talking about our suggested trails in just a few minutes. All right, let's do a sneak peek of some of the buildings that will be on the tour. So first, always a fan favorite is Buffalo City Hall. This was completed in 1932. It is one of the best examples of Art Deco architecture in the entire US. When you go to City Hall, you'll be able to view the lobby, the Common Council chambers, and the observation deck, which has a spectacular view of Buffalo. So I'd like to take the opportunity today to highlight some of our brand new additions to the tour this year. So first of all, there is the Statler Hotel, Statler Buffalo, which is an architectural gem in our city. It was completed in 1923. And Douglas Development has been working to both preserve and renovate this classic building. On September 28th, they will have the first floor and the mezzanine level of the building open to the public. You're going to see some stunning ballrooms, and their bar Milton's will be open all day, offering refreshments and small plates for purchase. The Sinclair Apartments, completed in 1909 by well-known local architects Esenwein and Johnson. This is a great example of adaptive reuse, which is taking a structure from its original purpose to a completely different purpose while preserving the integrity of the original building. It was originally a milliner's building, and it's now a mixed-use residential building. On September 28th, you'll be able to view one of the vacant apartments. This is located right next door to the downtown library, and you might recognize on the side of the building here, Flowers for Buffalo, one of our well-known murals downtown. We are so excited to be adding the Guarantee Building this year, thanks to our wonderful friends at Preservation Buffalo Niagara, as well as the Hodgson Russ Law Firm, which occupies the building. This, in my own opinion, might be Buffalo's most famous building. It was designed by the father of the skyscraper, Louis Sullivan, with his partner Dankmar Adler, and it was completed in 1896. So on September 28th, you'll be able to view the first floor of the building, and they have a museum there that talks about the history of this building. We're also adding the Buffalo School of the Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management. It was completed in 1894, originally as a livery stable. Another example of adaptive reuse, actually. So the high school now occupies it, and you can still see some of the original features of the building, including the ramp that was used to bring horses up to the upper floors. I had the fortune recently of getting to tour this building with the principal. It's really beautiful in there. And what's really cool is the students run their own restaurant on the first floor, and they're going to be open on September 28th from 10 to 2 to serve food and refreshments for purchase. This building is on our family-friendly trail, which is sponsored by C-SAAHN, and they are going to have a cookie decorating activity available for kids. So 500 Pearl was on our tour last year. However, they did not have their Forbes Theater available for viewing last year. This year, you will be able to view the Forbes Theater. This theater was completed in 1914, again by Esenwein and Johnson, and it is now a beautiful event space that is available for rental. So you can see in this picture, it's set up for an event. So we're excited to have them on the tour this year. So bringing us into modern times is 50 Fountain Plaza, another new ad this year. This is the headquarters of our presenting sponsor, Simonelli Real Estate. It's also on the family-friendly trail. And our friends at the Buffalo Architecture Foundation are going to have a kid-friendly activity available there. Coming back for the first time since 2021 is the Michigan Street Baptist Church, one of the most historic buildings in downtown Buffalo. They just completed renovations, and they're very excited to welcome you back into their church. They will have guided tours available. This church is part of the Michigan Street African American Heritage Corridor, of which other buildings will be on the tour on 9/28, including WUFO Black Radio History Collective, where you get to go inside DJ booths, which will be really cool, as well as the Corridor's headquarters building and the Nash House Museum. And Big Ditch Brewing Company is going to be offered guided tours of their brewery this year. This is their first year participating in Doors Open Buffalo. They will be offering guided tours at 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and 3 p.m. They are requiring ticket reservations. They are free ticket reservations for these tours. We will be releasing those tickets this week on doorsopenbuffalo.org. They are only allowing 20 people per tour, so reserve your tickets early. And the brewery's restaurant will also be open to the public starting at noon on 9/28. All right, so last year we piloted our trails as part of our Doors Open program. So we're going to be offering that again this year. You can visit any buildings in any order you like. However, these are trails that we put together as suggested routes, depending on what you'd like to see. So first, there is our family-friendly trail sponsored by C-SAAHN. This includes the 50 Fountain Plaza building, Buffalo Harbor Museum, the Buffalo Presidential Center, Buffalo School of the Culinary Arts, the Downtown Library, Ellicott Square Building, Western New York Book Arts Center, and WUFO Black Radio History Collective. And each of these sites will have kid-friendly activities to offer. This year, we're also going to be handing out passports to our young visitors, to kids, and they can pick up their passports at any of the family-friendly sites or at our info hub at the Buffalo Convention Center, and they will get a sticker on their passport for each kid-friendly, each family-friendly site that they visit. Next is our classic Buffalo Trail that features some of Buffalo's oldest and or most well-known buildings. So you have wonderful photo opportunities at these buildings. So you can see the list here: City Hall, Ellicott Square Building, Old County Hall, Guarantee Building, Hotel Lafayette, M&T Gold Dome, M&T Plaza, Market Arcade, Seneca One, and the Statler Buffalo. And here in this photo is the beautiful interior of the Ellicott Square Building. We will have our Houses of Worship Trail. Buffalo has some of the most beautiful church architecture in the country, and some of the greatest examples of stained glass around. So these are our places that will be on the Houses of Worship Trail. So Michigan Street Baptist Church, St. Anthony of Padua Roman Catholic Church, St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral, and Trinity Episcopal Church. So in the photo here is St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral. And then we added the Nash House as part of the Houses of Worship Trail because that is the historic home of Reverend J. Edward Nash, who was the pastor of the Michigan Street Baptist Church. And then finally, a new trail that we're trying out this year is the 21st Century Buffalo Trail. So this is a trail that showcases Buffalo's modern Renaissance. And you can see all of the buildings that will be on the trail here, including Alleyway and Road Less Traveled Theater, who will talk about their season offerings this year of theater. Big Ditch Brewing, Brisbane Building just completed their new lobby and event space. 5 Points Framing is a wonderful small business in downtown. It's a really cool building, wonderful owner. Hall Walls Contemporary Art Center, Lafayette Court Building, which just did renovations last year. And I already talked about the Sinclair. And then here in this photo is the Starlight Studio. And this is an art studio and gallery that features works by people in the community who have special needs. Now, during Doors Open, it's an all-day event, and we know that you're going to want a place to find some refreshments or sit down for lunch, and you will not be short of places to go on September 28th. So here is just a small list of what will be open that day. And if you visit doorsopenbuffalo.org, we do have a full list of restaurants and coffee shops that will be open to welcome you. A couple of the places are offering a 10% discount to Doors Open visitors on 9/28. I have those listed here. Mhm. So how do you attend Doors Open Buffalo? Well, the first step is to register. We do require a free registration. You can go straight to doorsopenbuffalo.org, or you can find us through our main website, explorebuffalo.org, and sign up. And why do we require registration? For one, it helps to speed up entry into buildings so we can avoid lines. And it also helps us collect zip code data for future funders so that we can keep this event free to the community for future years. Once you sign up, you will get a confirmation email with details about how the event works. You can go on our website, doorsopenbuffalo.org, take a look at the participating locations that you can plan your day ahead of time. There's also a Google map on there. And on September 28th, you can start at any location. Now, when you get to your first location, what you'll need to do is show your email confirmation either on your phone or you can print it out. We will give you a wristband that gives you admission into all of the participating buildings. You can pick up a map of all the buildings at any location or at our information hub at the Buffalo Convention Center, or you can use our Google map that is on the website. Now, if you have specific questions that you'd like to ask us that day, we Explore Buffalo will be stationed at the Buffalo Convention Center. I will personally be there. Come and say hi. And so, yeah, we'll be there to answer any questions you have. You can start your day there, get your map and your wristband there. If you have kids, you can pick up your kid's passport there. And yeah, so we hope to see you there. There won't be tours of the convention center, but if you have any questions, we will be there to help you. If you'd like to learn more about Explore Buffalo and all the different tours and programs we offer throughout the year, please visit us at explorebuffalo.org. And that is my presentation. Happy to take any questions.
Well, Suzanne, that's a whirlwind tour of downtown Buffalo. A couple of years ago, you were out in the neighborhood, in the East Side neighborhood, yep. And you really brought a lot of people to see a part of town that often folks aren't. But your big one is the downtown, and I'm glad you're downtown and going to grow. Hopefully, you said 5,300 folks were at last year's
yeah.
program.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that's a big effort, and as you point out, it takes a lot of volunteers. I'm intrigued with the family-friendly trail, obviously, and the kids' passport. Just describe that. What's the hope? What happens when a youngster tries to apply for a passport?
Sure. So they don't even need to apply. They can just come to any of our family-friendly locations or to the Buffalo Convention Center and pick up their passport, which is a little booklet. And each page will have a picture of the family-friendly location with a little space for their sticker. And any family-friendly location that they visit, they will get a sticker on their passport and they can have that as a keepsake.
That's a great idea. And I hope I hope word gets out to many families to take advantage of the situation. Usually Explore Buffalo is really adult oriented. It's people, lifelong learners that want to know more about the buildings and whatnot and the detail. But this is as the title says, family-friendly trail. And I'm glad you're making at least one trail like that to emphasize kids and family members exploring Buffalo together. How is that?
Yes, yes, sounds great.
How about any questions, Ann? Do we have any from our audience?
Sure. For Suzanne, do you also offer Doors Open or something similar another time during the year?
So Doors Open Buffalo only happens once a year. However, we also have sort of a similar thing that we do twice a year, and that's our tour of homes, where you can tour inside of actual residences. So that happens in the fall and in the summer. That is not a free program. There is an admission fee for that, but it's a similar format where you get to go inside of places that you normally don't.
Okay, and another question we have is if somebody has an idea for a topic for a tour, say a neighborhood or a particular business, what do they need to do to have Explore Buffalo consider that?
Sure. You can send an email to our executive director, Brad Hahn, and his email is brad@explorebuffalo.org. You can mention me, and if you have an idea, he will take that into consideration. Now, it is our volunteer docents that write our tours, so that will depend upon their availability to be able to write that. And it does take time to develop a tour, just so you know.
Suzanne, let me just expand on that because it's a good question. And I want to reiterate that you had said that your docent trainings is an annual event. It's
Yes.
several weeks long,
Yes.
but it starts in February. And I think folks that have stories to tell about things they're interested in or neighborhoods where they live, North Buffalo, South Buffalo, East or West, should plan on considering signing up to be a docent. Then you're in the stream of thought, if you will. And if you have something that you especially want to tell a story, you're in the middle of developing it yourself and with people that can assist you. It doesn't happen automatically. It takes effort. So I would say consider becoming a docent, or at least go through the docent training. And it's well worth the few dollars that you charge for it. And it's a great learning lesson about the city's history and its architecture and its future, not just its history.
Yeah, absolutely. And, as Dennis had mentioned, I started out at Explore Buffalo as a volunteer docent. And the docent training, you're learning how to be a docent and you're learning a specific tour, but it's also a history course on Buffalo architecture. And it's so fascinating. Things that, I've lived here my whole life and I had no idea before I started as a docent. So, and if you'd like to develop your own tour, how that works is you go through the training and then you give the tour that you're trained on. And once you've kind of mastered that, then you can get into writing your own tour. We certainly welcome new tours every year.
We've got another question, Dennis.
Okay.
Ebony writes, I'm looking forward to learning about Buffalo on these tours as I'm new to town. Are there any holiday-focused walking tours, such as at Christmas or Thanksgiving?
So we actually have a couple of Halloween tours coming up. Well, the first one that's coming up is an Oktoberfest tour of, I think that's the United German and French Cemetery. It's called Booze and Spirits, play on the word booze, but it's about the brewers who are I think German brewers who are buried there. And then we do a tour at Halloween called the Spirits of Allentown, which is it's a ghost tour. And there will be at least one tour. We're gonna have a psychic on the tour to do whatever she reads at each home. And then Christmas tours, well, we do have our sacred spaces tours that are really popular in the winter because they're inside, and we like to make sure that we schedule tours around Christmas time so you can see those churches decorated for Christmas, which is really beautiful. So
the other thing I'd love to add in, Dennis, if I may, is just a bit of a plug for what's happening here at the library on the 28th of September.
Good.
We will be doing behind the scenes tours throughout this building on the hour. It's about a 30-minute tour. Everybody's favorite part always seems to be getting onto what we call the tiers, which is where we store millions of books and other materials. So that's your opportunity to see that totally non-public space. But we also that day are doing a couple of programs here. Aside from the family-friendly activities, we will at 11 o'clock be doing a program with WNED about the upcoming Leonardo da Vinci, Ken Burns documentary that's coming up this fall. And also we have a Buffalo Presidential Center program that will be occurring at 2 o'clock that day. So there's lots going to be going on here aside from just doors open. And we would love to see everybody come through the library if you haven't been here in a while.
That is engaging. How does a person even hope to do all 35? So that's why I like the trio idea, because you get people down to 8 or 10 or 12 and there's some theme to them. So
Yeah, we've had a couple of people who actually have done all the buildings in previous years, but you're only in there for about a minute. Like it's and it's a very walkable, manageable event. But yeah, 35 is a lot of buildings. So that's why we see people do about 5 to 8 buildings. So
Well, and parking is it free downtown
on the weekends, I mean,
Yes.
check
on
the street
Saturday?
signs, but yeah.
On Saturday, all right, so people can park any place they want. And I
Mhm.
thought your mentioned the convention center as a good starting point. Visit with you and get instructions and passports for the kids and things of that sort. But when you say a mile radius, just think of it, that's for most people, a 15-20 minute walk in any direction. So it's not that intimidating. If you start central, you can really have a good shot at getting virtually everything. I know this family-friendly tour starts at one point. It starts at the on Broadway, in my mind. For instance, the WUFO, fascinating thing, place, a radio station. Everybody wants to see the inside of how that could look and maybe participate. Very popular. And then at the other end of it is the Buffalo Harbor Museum, a very hidden museum in Buffalo, but open on Saturdays, but and free to the public, but very specially designed for family-friendly tour on doors open. So at least check out those two. I invite people to do at either end, but really not a bad walk on a nice September day. I'm sure we'll have.
Right.
I hope
Get your
we'll
steps
have.
in.
Any others, Ann? Any other?
Nope, that's everything we've got so far.
Well, then we're pretty much on time. It's good to be back here doing this. Let's see if we can finish up here then. Suzanne, thank you very much for giving us a real walking tour of Buffalo visually, a virtual tour here. And folks, thank you for joining us today. Hope you'll be with us next week. We're going to have a friend of mine, Reverend Richard Augustine. And he's the director at St. Jude Center here in Buffalo. His presentation titled to be St. Jude Center, History and Future with a question mark. If you go by the space, you'll see there's a for sale sign on it. Part of the process that the Diocese of Buffalo is going through in reducing its property. So join us then. And actually, the next two Tuesdays of Imagine will have folks from that family-friendly tour. The WUFO folks on the 17th of September, and on the 24th, just before Explore Buffalo's doors open, we'll have the Buffalo Harbor Museum people to hear that story. So join us. Thank you again for joining us today. I'm Dennis Galucki. Be well and good day.